The Barcelona event is F2Tekkz. He's in action right now, playing that Liverpool strip to left to right. A big Liverpool fan signed for the F2 recently, and he's 1-0 down early on here against RemiMartinn, who is looking to take some big names out of this competition right now.
Yep, he's already taken some big names out of the competition. I believe F2Tekkz was one of his most recent victims. He's quietly been going about his business. Actually finished 4-3 in the group stages, in the Swiss stages of this competition. Beat F2Tekkz very convincingly. Tekkz, I mean, I was sitting there watching it. I was listening to what he had to say. He felt hard done by. I think maybe Tekkz does a bit too much moaning rather than playing FIFA, but he didn't look very good in that game, I'll be honest with him. He was not good enough to beat RemiMartinn in this. You look at some of the other people he's gone about and beat him.
Straight down the other end for Tekkz now. Cheeky scoop turn, ball roll, drag back all in there as well. And one thing that Tekkz can often do, Chris, he can do the unpredictable, which is one of the best things in FIFA esports, you know, to be unpredictable against your opponent. Give them an L tornado they might not expect, you know, someone else in there as well. Is that one of the key things you think that really separates him from a number of players?
Yeah, I think it's the arsenal he's got in his locker, the fact that he can pull out some tricks and change the game very slightly. I think some people are maybe...
There it is! Ooh!
Some players are maybe a little bit too predictable and only do certain things, and the fact that he can pull out stuff like that.
Wow, edge of the box now. That one's recycled into Ramos on the overlap. No, off he's going to do a bicycle kick again. Literally, this man is unpredictable right now. A bicycle kick, Chris, straight from the corner. We're used to seeing a flick on from CR7. Here comes another corner. Will he do something on the similar level? Again, play short. Ronaldo now, this is F2Tekkz, El Tornado!
Things are getting saucy out here. Throwing in a few skill moves, seeing if he can upset his opponent and get something out of this high pressure in the first 15 minutes of the game. And you see how F2Tekkz has really managed to get himself at this point in the competition.
Oh, Omri, scoop turn.
Very cool from RemiMartinn, just playing the smart passes, not panicking and throwing the ball away, trying to neutralize this pressure and this ball of momentum that Tekkz is starting to build up. It's obviously 1-0 down at this point, and he wants to get that equalizer very early on. Just to remind you, these guys actually met up in the group stages. I believe it was the point that both of them were 3-0, and it was Tekkz who won 7-6 on aggregate. And no doubt Martin will be looking to get revenge. He already managed to get revenge on Tekkz, who he played in the first game and beat. Tekkz beat him 4-2, so beating him in the round of 32 is just amazing.
You see there as well, I just saw RemiMartinn beating Epsilon fully as well, hence why Fully had to go to his last game against #Ryan. Unfortunately lost them penalties and went out the competition there. Big names have been dropping out the competition, and F2Tekkz there, confusion at the back. We'll just collect that one there. F2Tekkz thinking, how have I not scored that? How have I not had a chance? Messi there, somehow winning an aerial battle. He's just teasing him right now. RemiMartinn teasing Tekkz. Out it goes to Messi now, cuts back inside, chance for a shot, and the way that man plays in the final third, I've not seen someone do it so well for a long time.
Yeah, RemiMartinn's really got to do something to stop Tekkz here. He's absorbing a lot of pressure, and it's not very convincing at that. He's got to make sure he can control the game, get a few opportunities for himself. It's all great having a 1-0 lead, but this is a two-leg affair, and there's lots of time for Tekkz to get some goals back. He wants to make it to that round, to the quarterfinal stages, that part of the bracket where you're going to be getting playoff spots for the FIFA E-World Cup. You need to make sure your game play is on point.
As we know, Chris, you know, Tekkz is already there. He won the Barcelona FUT Champions Winter Cup, you could call it. And you know, the pressure could be off for him a little bit, but now he's signed for F2. You know, the pressure of representing such a big, you know, organisation as that, such a big brand that, you know, Billy and Jez will be watching the wings. They'll be here right now. Does that add a little more pressure to your game, do you think?
I mean, it looks like RemiMartinn's got more pressure than Tekkz at this point in time, and just that little smile you saw on his face, it definitely looks like he knows it as well. It's just kind of a waiting game, making sure that he keeps his pressure up because he's going to crack eventually. But I would have to say it does add a lot of pressure. He's only 16, and I have to be honest, I talked about it with Rich last time I was on the desk. It's just the mental strength of someone at 16 to think he's you know, just believing that he is one of the best players in the world and going out there, going to grand finals, winning them comfortably, beating these veterans of the FIFA game is absolutely phenomenal.
He's just, you know, fearless the way he plays, and that attacking prowess he can bring. He saw it a minute ago. It's just attack, a wave after wave after wave until he gets rid of that ball, RemiMartinn. And you're looking at how important this playoff spot is. For RemiMartinn, it's huge. He's come from USA to come and play here in Manchester, and all he needs is to win a two-legged game of FIFA. He's currently in the lead right now, and he could get himself there, but he hasn't done anything after scoring that first goal.
You talk about fearless. I mean, there are a lot of players who major veterans of FIFA, played so many games, been to so many events. None of them show the kind of composure that Tekkz has shown here. He literally just doesn't seem to be phased. It's, you know, I don't want to compare it too much at such a young age.
What a ball! Just to cut that back line open and equalise like that. RemiMartinn brought back to the ground in such a big game right now. 1-1 the score, game on.
He does remind me of a young gorilla. He attacks for fun. It just looks easy for him. He always finds these opportunities to score. He puts so much pressure on that back line, and he does not stop scoring. He never lets up, and you can see it written all over RemiMartinn's gameplay right now. He is panicking.
You just saw there, 58 goals scored for Nicholas so far. He is through in the quarterfinals, and out of this game now, whoever wins will be playing MS Dasari. Chris Trout, imagine an F2Tekkz up against MS Dasari, if it happens.
It's going to be like watching a immovable object go against an unstoppable force. It is going to be one to remember.
And for that to be a quarter-final, not a final, Chris, a quarter-final.
I feel like we're being spoilt here. It's like having your dessert before your main course.
And that is the first half of action, 1-1. The score. Tekkz there, you know, he's had those early chances. He just needs to ensure that he can do enough. RemiMartinn, on the other hand, needs to show a little bit more attacking prowess, needs to be a little bit more out there, because right now he looks under the pressure.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the face of someone who's calm and collected. Looks like someone who's maybe considering his options and wondering how he neutralizes this game. I think maybe packing out the midfield could help. He does seem like someone who's very orientated about playing through the center of the pitch, and it's just not quite working for him, so maybe he needs to exploit those flanks a little bit more.
See Tekkz playing that Liverpool strip, a big Liverpool fan, remember. Ronaldo pulls back a Drogba, he's going to try and have a shot. And just some of the other round of 16 games that needs to be played. I think one of the big ones for me, Chris, is Janos up against Megabit. Two players that love to attack. And then you got Unilad Gorilla up against a familiar face that he would have never probably played before, the Canadian goal machine.
Yep, definitely one to watch. I think it's going to be a tough task for Gorilla. I've watched him most of the weekend, as you probably would do if you've got the time to do it. He has played some phenomenal FIFA at times, but he's also shown some major flaws in his game, choking a few leads. The amount of times I've seen him go 2 or 3 goals up only to throw it away has been very uncharacteristic of him. I mean, he's not well known for his amazing defending gameplay, more about scoring goals and attacking fiercely, but he's not exactly a terrible defender. And to see him throw away such big leads so consistently does have me worried about how he will fare up in these later stages of the competition.
Well, Marcelo now. This is RemiMartinn. Oh, a chance for that man. Roberto Carlos as well. He's not normally the man always choosing to play at left back, Chris. And
solid option, though.
For sure, he can come up with a free kick as well if you need him to. Recycled well by Remy. That one's saved, and we normally see a man just lurking at the back post for it there, but no one was there on that occasion.
See what Tekkz starts to do. He's got to find that goal that puts him in the lead, because as I said earlier on with Richard, once he does get a goal or two ahead, that's where he really starts to shine. He becomes so fluid, so creative in that final third. It really becomes so hard to stop him, and then Parky felt the full brunt of that force. Sombrero flicks, all sorts of crazy nonsense coming out of Tekkz, which led to that absolute battering in the end.
We'll see how they both got into the round of 16 there. Obviously, RemiMartinn being phased Tast, and then it was F2Tekkz, a 6-1 win up against MCR Jay Parkey. An English player there, 2 English players going at it in the round of 32. As I said, big other games to come. You've got Kurt up against Erosia as well. Hashtag Harry up against Senna from Brazil. PSG Dax up against Tim Latka as well, Chris. So, you know, thinking this is a big game. There's still a number to come.
Absolutely. So many more games and so much more action to actually come in this competition. And if you guys are wondering if you can get involved at home and come down and watch the action live, see some of the best FIFA players in the world, you can do that by going over to www.eafootman.com to register and get yourself involved.
You can indeed, obviously. It's open for all tomorrow, you know, mainly coaches here today, event organisers. People may be looking to sign some free agents that might be here, but there's not many of them. So a chance, as you said, to come meet the players, get involved. There's a big crowd, you know, gathering up behind us right now. And why wouldn't you be supporting some of the best FIFA players in the world, playing for masses of money and, you know, big playoff spots as well?
Well, the great thing about these events is there will be a couple of free agents lurking about. Maybe some people who've had a good competition. Might have been a couple of things.
Remy!
Oh, I'll stop what I'm talking about there.
Out the blue. Literally. You've got to say, Chris, just... He hasn't really done too much, to be honest. It has been F2Tekkz in the majority of this game, but as we know with FIFA, Chris, you just need one chance to come out the blue and score a goal.
Exactly that. You've just got to make sure you're clinical when it counts, and that seems to be what Remy's doing here. It's not a fluke that he's got to this point in the competition. He's played some very good FIFA. I don't think the first half really reflected that. But when he's been called upon, he has bagged those goals, and he's done it by manipulating the game to his will and using those in-game mechanics to get the best out of his players. It's just a bit lazy there from Tekkz. I thought he might have tried to hold off on that and look for a pass, but goes for an ambitious effort outside. And this might be where the pendulum of momentum swings in the favor of RemiMartinn, as Tekkz is not really giving much answer.
Wow, he's just onside as well. Neymar somehow got there. Just a perfect pattern of play. I was about to say, going into that second game, Chris, you know, 2-1 is not really a scoreline, but 3-1, he's got to go and chase the game though, F2Tekkz. What a ball that is from R9. Beat Sergio Ramos. I know he hasn't got the best position in.
You've just got to appreciate the gameplay from RemiMartinn. Absolutely clinical as anything. Saw the pass, took his opportunity, and Tekkz, twice I feel like he's fallen asleep there.
And behind us now, everyone is gathering around for all the big games. You got Zazzini up against Andonia, Brazilian versus Spanish game, hashtag Harry up against Senna. And then right at the end, FUT Honey Badger up against Gotzeri on the big main stage at this moment in time. Pull it. For Neymar now. Here comes RemiMartinn now. He's full of confidence. Wow, what a ball. That should have been a goal. Just finesse it with your left foot.
I was thinking exactly that. Finesse it to that near post. Would have been an easy goal. The hair didn't even move. He just fell on the floor like he'd been shot.
And just saved it. Literally so easy for him. Threaded through, ball on the far-hand side. Messi inside. Could be a goal for Tekkz. Yes, it is. And from scoring or nearly scoring down one end with Neymar to conceding like that. Sometimes, Chris, that is just how harsh FIFA can be at this level.
FIFA is such a cruel mistress. I mean, you're on top of the world, you're dominating your opponent, and then all of a sudden it just says, no, sir, I don't swing like that. Here's one for you, keep you on your toes, and that's not the kind of goal you want to concede in the 84th minute coming into a second leg, because that's just made things that bit more tense for RemiMartinn. He was obviously looking a bit nervous coming into that second half. A sigh of relief from him in that third goal that came for him, and now things are getting a little bit precious. Things are getting a little bit more delicate and fragile at this point in time. He's got to make sure he's on point and concentrates for these last few minutes.
You can see some of the scores of round 32 there on the right-hand side of your screen. Andonia there, 7-1 against Marcuso from Manchester City. We don't normally see all the top Spanish players out there. So we've got Graveson there, Perry, Andonia as well. I know you're looking over your shoulder, Chris. Anything taking your fancy there?
Was a massive game between #Harry and Senna. They both met in the first game of the Swiss group stage, and Harry managed to walk away with a fairly convincing win in that one. And at the moment, after one leg, he is 2-1 up. So he's in the driving seat, and it's a massive game for him because if he wins it, he gets a spot in the playoffs.
See some of these guys, for example, Nicholas, he's in the quarterfinals now. He's already got that playoff spot. F2, he's already got that playoff spot as well. So it would mean even more for someone like RemiMartinn. But that is game one concluded there, Chris. RemiMartinn does just pinch the win in that one, but as we know, it's a two-legged game. Realistically, that Neymar chance could have given him a 2-goal deficit there, or you might not even want to conceded, down the other end. It could have been a 3-0 deficit for him.
I mean, imagine the change of pace that game gets if he goes 4-1 up. Absolutely changes the face of the game. It makes Tekkz, you know, kind of question himself, second-guess his tactics, and that could actually spur him on to do better. He could change it and it works out for him, or it could just make things even worse, because if his game plan is not going to plan, he's got to do something and things get even worse. And I think at that point, you know, someone like Tekkz, who's not necessarily been behind in this situation before or very regularly enough to deal with the pressure and have the correct answer, might find that things get even worse for him. I think we also saw that Honey Badger is behind in his matchup against Gotsuri.
I think that's a great point there, Chris, you've added, because yes, Tekkz has gone on that crazy run in Barcelona, but he hasn't tasted, you could say, a big defeat in his career yet. You know, it's all gone well for him, and sometimes you need to taste that loss to learn, as a number of players would say. I think it was #Ryan that when he went up the competition, he went, all right, yeah, I've lost, but I'll learn from it. I'll come back and I'll learn from it.
Well, I mean, like, I think this is a similar situation. Barcelona, he lost to Kurt in the Swiss group stage, then beat him in the knockout phase, which is massive. Obviously, that's more like a one-on-one matchup, knowing how to change your tactics and your approach for that game. And then we've had a similar situation here where he's lost to Kurt. If he had played him again, it would have been a similar situation. But now he's playing someone else who, you know, he might not have the tactics set out for. He might not necessarily have a plan B that works as a general and broad purpose, but he's more someone who can change his tactics for one specific person. And that's not the case here. He's got to make sure he's got a good tactic coming against someone he might not be too familiar with.
For sure as well, because it's a great point that obviously he's playing that European, you could say, circle. Yes, he played against Nicholas in that major final in Barcelona. Has he got the experience to play against someone else from the Americas region, from USA? Because he would have never matched up against them online. You know, it's impossible unless you want to do a friendly game, but the internet probably won't be great. Yeah. So that's going to be a good point there. But does Tekkz have to come out and play even more attacking now, or does he just play like he did before? Because he can easily get back in.
Yeah, I think this is... Getting that second goal for him really has made that game so different. If it was 4-1, he probably would have to go quite aggressive. That's 3 goals, and, you know, 3 goals don't just appear out of nowhere. But I think having it at 3-2, he'll probably be thinking, okay, it's basically 0-0. I'm going to probably have to score 2 goals to ensure that I would win anyway. So that's how he's looking at it now. Like, you get 2 goals, you're in a winning position, and that's comfortable for him. I think once he gets ahead, which he hasn't actually done so far in this matchup, he'll start to shine. He'll start to be more comfortable and smooth in his gameplay.
For sure, and I just heard a number of roars there behind me. I think it was Honey Badger who may have just conceded again. Yeah, I believe he's not playing in the Roma strip. He's we're playing in the New Zealand white strip, obviously from New Zealand. You know, representing the country there very proudly as well, and FUT. I know the guys will be very proud of him as well. All the guys here, 6 of them were here competing. Obviously, # had 5 players too. And 4-4, I've just seen there, Zazzini up against Andoni PM over on the PlayStation. I believe 4-4.
Well, things are getting very interesting here. I think that this is definitely a big moment in Tekkz' FIFA 18 career. Obviously, he had such a great moment in Barcelona, and he had a fantastic run of play, great run in the tournament. But this is kind of where he needs to learn how to come back from defeat. He needs to learn how to adjust his game and create that plan B. He's still 16. He's still got so much learning to do when it comes to competitive LAN play.
Yep.
And, you know, when you see some of these guys who are veterans, they've played multiple FIFAs over multiple competitions, sometimes you can get stuck in your way, and you'll find that you kind of get stuck in a rut. You're doing the same stuff, and you're very hard to change your approach. Whereas someone like that who's so young and probably so eager to learn and get better and better, he can adapt very quickly and adapt over multiple games because he's probably got such a long career ahead of himself.
For sure as well, and I think the key thing, you know, you can take out of that, Chris, is that he, as I've said, he hasn't suffered maybe a major defeat yet. It's all been going well for him. He's been winning all the games. Obviously, he hasn't really suffered a big loss in maybe around a 16, or if he gets through maybe a quarter-final or a semi-final. He might just go the full way again, Chris. We never know. As you know, there's big names that have fallen out of this competition. You know, hashtag Aggie's not here. Hashtag Ryan is not here. You know, there's big names that have fallen out. Tass has gone out of the competition as well. You know, this isn't, you know, a walk in the park for anyone.
Absolutely right, Brandon. And this game has kind of reached a stalemate so far. We're only 15 minutes into the game, but no one really creating anything interesting.
And we have in front of us the Honey Badger game up against Gottsry from Germany. I believe that Gottsry did win that first game. He's part of Stark Esports. He used to play for EC United Hawks there, and then moved on to Stark doing some great things over there. Won't be long before they probably partner him up with a club. And a pause has been cued by F2Tekkz here. Obviously, a very different play style from RemiMartinn right now. Seems to be very much more possession-based. He's looking after possession a lot more.
Definitely so. I think he's changed his game style. He doesn't want to give much away. Maybe that's working against him because I've seen RemiMartinn have far more chances than he initially had. RemiMartinn playing that 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. I mean, just an update on one of the other games. Hashtag Harry has gone a goal up, 3-2 on aggregate to Senado Bone. So he is looking very comfortable at this position. They're just doing a few tactical changes, I think almost halfway through that second leg.
And still games to come, obviously, just right in front of me now, especially on the Xbox side of things. You've got Janos up against Megabit, Unilad Griller up against Goal Machine, Kurt against Herosia, PSG Dax up against Tim Latka. And then over on the PlayStation 4 side of things, we got Maestro from Liel, Ajax Lev, Ice Vogel, Zazinio's playing right now, Dami up against Lord Horf, and then Dito from Manchester City will be in action right now. But in front of us, currently F2Tekkz is losing 3-2, could be 4-2, that one's just taken a deflection.
Bit of pressure building up for Tekkz here. Seems like Martin, just getting past that first leg, has given him so much more confidence. He doesn't seem to be too pressured on the ball. I think possibly what he was trying to think was pack out that centre midfield. It's clear he loves going down the centre, and it wasn't really working out in the first second. Packing out that central area has certainly worked wonders for these first few 25 minutes. He's got so much pressure on here, Brandon.
On top. There's 3 chances in a row now. There's an acrobatic effort as well. That one was blocked in the end by Maldini, I believe, but a change of scenery, it seems, right now. Chris, Tekkz has had 3 chances against him now, which, you know, we know how important a chance could be in FIFA. RemiMartinn will be thinking bad to them if he goes and loses this game.
Does have to be careful here. You cannot give away free passes to Tekkz because he will punish you.
And this could be the punishment right now. Out for a corner in the end. Front post, flick on. Ooh. You're used to seeing that with Ronaldo there. We know he's got the jump-in stats as well to beat pretty much anyone other than if you try and defend with a Ronaldo, or occasionally a Sergio Ramos might be there.
Just testing the waters, see if he can get a bit of a lucky goal. Doesn't pay out on this opportunity, but I like the attempt. Let's see how RemiMartinn answers back with this one as he's started to get a bit of a foothold on this game.
Yeah, into Neymar. Lovely little triangles there in between the midfielder Tekkz, and he just seems to be a lot more reserved in possession right now. You know, RemiMartinn seems to be looking after it a little bit more, especially in the midfield.
Definitely, he seems to be a bit more composed when playing those passes. Still a few escaping him, but I think fortunately for him, Tekkz hasn't really been great in the possession game himself. He hasn't been passing particularly well, especially in this second leg. And I'm starting to wonder whether he's got what it takes to get back in this. Is this where the pendulum of momentum that Tekkz has built up starts to go away from him? And to be fair, RemiMartinn, he hasn't. It's not like he had an amazing group stage in the Swiss competition.
Especially as well in that first game, I think we're actually seeing a better performance. And yes, he hasn't scored any goals, RemiMartinn, but overall I think he's been playing a lot better, to be honest. He started a lot more better, and just looking down here there for RemiMartinn right now. 4 wins, 3 losses for that man in the Swiss star form. And you compare that to someone like an F2Tekkz, 1-6, lost 1. And you can see over here, Chris, we've got 2 games in front of us right now. Götze up against FUT Honey Badger. Götze could be 4-1 up. Yes, he is. In that game, you can't see F2Tekkz down this end. Messi with a header. He's not going to win in that one at all.
And just some other score updates. It looks like Senna de Bone has equalised against #Harry on aggregate. I think they're approaching the second half of that second leg. And that's a big, big game. One of those will hopefully secure a spot in the playoffs of the FIFA E-World Cup, as well as a place in the quarterfinals of this competition. And again, this game's kind of gotten a little bit stale, a little bit like bread, if I'm being honest. It's not really gone anywhere.
Out on the side,
yeah,
uncovered
like
for a few days.
A Hovis best of both. Just seems to be getting a bit stale. Nothing really happening. You look there at the stats, it looks like RemiMartinn really getting into his groove, really starting to control this matchup.
And you see there as well, as I said, he just looks a bit more possession-based this game, RemiMartinn. You can see it on the stats speaking for itself. He's keeping possession a lot more in the midfield. I think that the formation's working exceptionally well for him, especially that CDM in there, Vieira, just controlling the game.
Looks like Tekkz playing that flat 4-4-2, so you can kind of see why the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow is working out so well for him, managing to pack out that central midfield. You've almost got wingers from Tekkz. I don't think he's really exploiting that well either. Just kind of being isolated out there. You've also got to consider the fact that he's got 2 strikers kind of standing up quite distant from his central midfielders, so they're not really being able to link up in the best of circumstances. And I'm liking the game plan here from RemiMartinn. It looks like he's done his homework. Whether
he's got maybe a friend with him or a coach just between the game just saying, right, do this a little bit better, do that a little bit better. And looking at, you know, the Swiss style format, the run he had in the competition, as I said, he won 4 games, lost 3. You have to win 4 to go through. It's actually quite a funny story. You know, you said that FUT actually beat RemiMartinn in round 7 of the Swiss style format. They matched up again in the single elimination round of 32, and he went and turned it around on his head.
So maybe he has done his homework. He's taken away what he's the strengths and weaknesses of his opponents and what he needs to do correctly. And it looks like that might well be paying off for him at this moment in time. 50 minutes gone in this second leg. 3-2 still to RemiMartinn. And it looks like Tekkz building up a bit of speed here with the ball.
This could be the chance, cut inside on that finesse! There we go. We're all square, just like that. And a bit of passion from that man again right now.
Such a clinical goal. Tekkz finally gets his opportunity and gets his rewards. Nice little shuffle back the way the ball would come, through off the defence of RemiMartinn, and slots away with R9 just like he's been doing all tournament long, and we have an all-square game.
It's one of those, Chris, that we're always used to seeing. Literally, play inside, touch back, open on that finesse, whether it's a low driven finesse or just an ordinary shot. And the next game, obviously, we'll be jumping into, I believe, after this one is Zini up against Andoni PM, a Spaniard up against a Brazilian. However, before that, Chris, we might be going to extra time with this one.
Could well do.
Oh, that's poor there. That is really poor from Tekkz. Ronaldinho,
no.
Oh, that's very fortunate. Really fortunate indeed. Tekkz just has to laugh. There was just a little bit of hope originally for Remy. And then he got the rebound. He was somehow onside. And in a tournament like this, Chris, when that falls to your feet, you're going to take them all day, aren't you?
Absolutely. You've got to praise the commitment from RemiMartinn. He was not giving that one up, through his players forward. And he got his reward in the end. He puts himself back in front in this tie. How will he cope with holding out this lead now?
And back to square one for Tekkz right now. He is a goal behind, but here he comes. Needs something special. Maybe he might have to start playing a little bit more simple, and maybe can't bring out the showboat for him. Ronaldo.
just an update as well again. Hashtag Harry has scored one more goal, so he's back in the lead in his tie. And it's just approached the 70th minute, so there's not long to go.
We've got it in front of us as well, as you said, Chris. 70th minute, oh, heel to heel. That is great feed from Remy. Does win himself a corner in the end, but obviously you guys can't see this on the screen, so I'll describe it to you, Chris. What's the situation with hashtag Harry?
Yep, 70 minutes gone. Harry just taking the lead. He's had a tremendous tournament. I have to say, recently, maybe not performed to his best, but it looks like so far in this tournament, he is thriving. This has really been one of those tournaments he'll remember for a while if he can get through into the top 8.
Wow, sorry to interrupt, Chris. RemiMartinn is on fire right now, and then hashtag Harry's just scored as well. He is 5-3 up, and you can see both games in front of you any second now. You can see all the games as well on the big screen of what the fans are seeing here at the Victoria Warehouse in Manchester, Chris, but goals are going in.
I mean, I've watched Harry do it all weekend long. You give him that space in front of the goal, just outside the penalty box, and he will finesse that into the top corner all day long. That's exactly what happened there for his 5th goal. He's got that 2-goal lead with, I think, maybe 15 minutes of in-game time left, and it's time for him to just set up shop and hold this out.
And a little inside story as well. I caught with Wes Tanser, one of the guys looks after the esports side of things at hashtag, and he said, you know, last week when Harry competed at the ESWC, Aggie went and won it on the Saturday. On the Sunday, it was Harry's turn. Didn't play well, didn't get through the groups. Apparently that night, early night, it was his birthday as well, Chris. Went to bed early, about 7 o'clock. That really hurt him, that result, because he knew that he wanted to play better than that. And this is why, you know, as you're commentating on right now, a game like this on your right-hand side of the screen means so much to him.
Now, I know Harry quite well, so I'm not sure if it was necessarily because he was so disappointed, or more he just went out in La Ramblers.
No, there was no
Really?
going out, apparently, on his birthday as well.
That is very uncharacteristic for him.
He just thought, you know, maybe that result really hit him there. And
is that a penalty?
Something's just been given away between the two. I don't know what card has been dispossessed as well. Yeah, it's going to be a penalty over here. F2Tekkz now with a lifeline. Up the steps on Ree. He's going to slot that one away. So we got a game one over here. 5-4 to RemiMartinn now. F2Tekkz, can he pull it back? Can we go to extra time?
Approaching the 70th minute as well. This is about game management for RemiMartinn now, and this is about F2Tekkz pulling out the clutch factor. Has he got it in his locker? Well, things are heating up.
Well, we'll get a reaction for sure if he does go and get that goal. But on the other side of things, you can see hashtag Harry. Now, a lot of people wanted to see this game on stream as well, up against Senna from Brazil.
See who's going to secure themselves a spot in the next round. Some great FIFA action this weekend, and we're watching some of the best games of the weekend so far. As I said, been a bit spoilt here, as they're only going to get better from this point on. As Tekkz almost conceding another goal there. See if he can counteract this. We're approaching the 75th minute, not long left. Who's got what it takes to reach the final 8 in the competition? It's a big, big game for Remimartinn, and you could argue it's just as big for F2Tekkz, who's got a lot of pressure on his shoulder, a lot riding on him now that he's joined a big organisation like F2. What has he got in the locker?
Well, he's in the red now of Hullet. That one's taken a deflection on this left-hand side of the screen. It is Tekkz in the red. And then we're watching Harry try and hold out this win. Oh, what a goal kick this could be. Could it be game over on the right-hand side here? Ronaldo there, that's game over. Hashtag Harry is full of confidence right now. Will another Englishman be able to pull that one back as well? Well, the man that's travelled miles to get here, Chris, RemiMartinn, to be able to ensure that another US of A player have got themselves a playoff place, and more importantly, to cause an upset.
RemiMartinn, he's got to show a bit more patience there. He's got to hold the ball. This is not a situation you want to be giving away the ball to someone like F2Tekkz, who's bearing down on goal, but again, it's still sloppy from him. He's not quite showing the same passion in the final third against RemiMartinn. I can't really say it's been great defending or great game management from RemiMartinn, but he has done enough, and sometimes in a game of FIFA, that's all you have to do, is just do the bare minimum to get by. But having said that, that was a fantastic tackle.
Well, we just got added time of 2 minutes to the right now. Harry will be going through to the quarterfinals. That means he will have his playoff place ticket. It's meant so much to that man. You know, he's been seeing, you know, Harry get there, Aga get there. You know, Dreamer's there as well. So just Boras and Harry there. That concludes the game. And Harry, hashtag Harry, has got himself a playoff space. RemiMartinn.
That could have sealed the game.
Nearly, Chris, and there's going to be one more chance.
Imagine the drama if Tekkz scores now.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
The threaded through ball. Ronaldo now for F2Tekkz. I'm sure we're going to see a reaction if this one goes in. He wins himself a corner. Added time of 3 minutes to come.
He can't.
Oh, no. Oh, I thought it was going to be a corner. I think Tekkz is just laughing to himself up there.
Surely that's it.
They might get one more chance. We can win this header. We can get back possession.
Take it to the corner.
Just keep possession. Do not go and lose it right now. This is in your hands to cause an upset, to get yourself a playoffs place. And congratulations to this man right now. Referee's whistle to blow. David De Gea saves. And surely that is game over right now. Referee, are we done? Stop teasing me like this.
It's like a Sunday League referee here.
Oh, Hullet, well played. Wow. That is incredible right now. You can see Ajax Joey there supporting him as well. PSG Fiddle. All the USA boys really behind this man. And you know what? He's coming, Chris, with a game plan against a player that, you know, he's got all the reputation, he's got all the fans, you got to say. And he's put on a great show.
RemiMartinn has proven that dreams do come true. The group stage is a completely different competition to what happens in this knockout phase. Congratulations to him. He's got the stones to make it past the champion of Barcelona. He books himself a place in the final 8. And the FIFA competition is just heating up.
Heating up indeed. I believe we're going